Welcome to the TLW Podcast. I am Jonathan Pixley here with my co-host and partner, Dr. Sean Owens. Dr. Owens, welcome back.
Coach, good to be here, man.
Jace Augustus, our other partner with JCB Media behind the scenes. We are privileged and blessed today to have an absolutely amazing guest join us, Miss Rachel Eggie Gibbs. Rachel and I have known each other for a while now, but she has done absolutely incredible things in our community, which we will get to shortly. Rachel, welcome.
Thank you. I'm pumped to be here.
This is going to be awesome. I did, you sent me your bio, your updated bio about a week ago, and I started looking through it, and typically, I'll put down some bullet points, and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to say. And then as I got through the entire bio, I was like, there's too much good stuff in here for me to memorize. And I think our audience needs to hear all of it. And so I'm basically going to read what you sent me.
Oh, gosh.
Because you have done a lot at 34. I know we're not supposed to ask women their age. But
34.
34, okay.
A few more months.
So I'm ultimately, audience here, I'm going to read this bio so you can get a feel for what this young lady has accomplished in such a short period of time. Rachel is a Baton Rouge native, award-winning hairstylist, entrepreneur, salon owner, and philanthropist, redefining what it means to lead in the beauty industry. As the founder and CEO of Eggie Salon Studio, Rachel has built one of Louisiana's premier salons, now spanning 2 locations, with a team of 45 professionals rooted in creativity, education, and empowerment. After earning her marketing degree from LSU and completing advanced training at the Avita Institute in Houston, Rachel launched her career with early national recognition, including the prestigious Edwin Neal Full Potential Award, honoring the top emerging hairstylists in the country. Since founding Eggie Salon Studio in 2020, her mission has been clear: to empower people, clients, stylists, and her wider community through beauty, education, and transformation. Under her leadership, the salon has become known for creating real career paths, elevating stylists into confident professionals and leaders, and building a culture centered on growth and excellence. This commitment has earned Eggie multiple honors, including 225 Magazine's People to Watch, Business Report's 40 Under 40, LSU's Top 100 Businesses for 2 consecutive years, the Young Business Person of the Year, and recognition as the best place to work. As an entrepreneur, Rachel has expanded her influence far beyond the salon with over 438,000 followers. That is correct, 438,000 followers on social media. I learned what a follower was not long ago, anyhow, so that's a lot. She shares beauty education, leadership insights, and confidence-building content with women everywhere. Her purpose-driven work also includes, and we're going to get into this a little bit later, the Eggie Post Chemo Program, offering complimentary hair services and personalized regrowth guidance to women recovering from chemotherapy. Today, Rachel is growing the Eggie brand through new ventures in education, product development, digital content, and media. Her mission stays the same: to empower people through beauty, growth, and transformation, one career, one client, and one community at a time. Should we just end the podcast?
We're done. See y'all later.
That's good. Is it just over at that point? Again, we've had a lot of really cool guests on this podcast already who have done some amazing things. I'm not sure we've ever had anybody as diverse as you at this early stage in your life. And so let's just jump right into it. With your professional journey, what caused you to go the direction that you did? In other words, like, how early did you know I want to be in the beauty industry?
When I was 14, so right out of high school, I knew I wanted to do this. And how it started was just as simple as doing girls' hair for proms and dances. And they would like go get it done and come back and they'd be upset because they didn't like it. And so I was like, oh, let me try to fix it. And so watching like the smile on their face and like seeing that confidence, and they're like, oh my gosh, now I feel great. I love it. So after high school, I told my parents, I was like, look, I want to go to cosmetology school. And my dad, he was like, great, you got to go to college and then you can do whatever you want. And so I'm really glad I did follow that path, because, you go to college and you're not the same person at 22 that you are at 18, and just the networking and the people I got to meet and that growth I had during those years. So through college, I was in a sorority, did all the college life. I did love school. I was always a strong student. And so when I graduated, I moved to Houston, and I was like, maybe I'll take the business route. And I interviewed with some event planning places, and there wasn't a passion. I was just like, okay, maybe I'll do this. And then I got a call from the Aveda Institute, and it was like, hey, we have your interview set up. And sure enough, my mom went and applied me and was like, yes. So like the sport came in, and I was like, okay. So I show up and I see the, cosmetology school, and I'm like, this is exactly where I want to be. So really from the age of 14 is when I knew I wanted to be in that industry.
That's wild. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you go to cosmetology school. Where did you go to cosmetology school? You said it was Aveda Institute.
In the Woodlands.
In the Woodlands,
yes.
okay, got you.
So I just wanted to get out for, a little bit and
Baton Rouge is great,
explore something.
Yeah, ...
Yes.
All right, so school in the Woodlands, you finish up. Talk us through where you move into that professional space that you're in now. Like, what did that journey look like?
Yeah, so I went through school, and I will say this, like after I got to Houston, when you grow up in Baton Rouge, it's such an amazing city, but it is, I didn't realize there is a whole world out there, right? So after Houston, I just started kind of traveling all over, like different countries and states, and I would go and like visit different salons. And during cosmetology school, I had multiple job offers, but I would walk into these salons and there was just like no energy, and people are chilling in the break room, and it's just like they bring me to the office and they, try to sell me on this like cap of dollars that you can make as a stylist. And I'm like, this is just not what I envisioned when I envisioned being a hairstylist. And one of the awards that I won allowed me to go to this huge conference, and it was, you're just surrounded by these top level hairstylists, and there's hobby hairstylists and then there's career hairstylists, right? It's two completely different things. And the difference is someone who has a drive and is looking for this to be a career for them. And so when I experienced that and I went into these salons, I'm like, this is not what I'm looking at. So I Googled best salon in Houston, and this salon came up, Therapy Hair Studio, and the cheapest haircut was like $100. And at the time I didn't have money, but I was like, okay, I gotta go in as a client. I hope this is worth it. So I go in, and the second I walk in, it's just like, the energy is there. It's 16 chairs. Everyone's well dressed. You can tell they're well respected. Yet you felt so comfortable, and I was like, this is what I envisioned when I, felt like I wanted to be a hairstylist. So I sat at the table with the owners, and I see this guy, and he's like doing this comb trick, and it's so intentional, so intense. And I said, that's who I want to train under. And the guys were like, okay. He was like, but he's really intense. Like a lot of his assistants don't last. And I was like, that's who I want. And so sure enough, I did. I worked with him for about 1.5 years, and the days were intense. Like I couldn't touch hair. I had to stand behind him, and I just observed and had this journal, and I drew head sheets, and I asked all the questions, and I just like absorbed as much as I could with my time with him. And then shortly after, I started building a clientele. And then, y'all, I'm telling you, I was in my apartment, and it hit me, and God was like, you're going back to Baton Rouge. And I called my parents, and my parents were like, I'm like, Mom, I'm moving back to Baton Rouge. And I couldn't, once I had the feeling, the vision board like came into my mind, and I couldn't get it out. I was like, I'm gonna open a salon. I'm gonna bring this to Baton Rouge, like everything I've experienced. And so I called my parents, and they're like, no. They're like, Rach, we would love for you to come back, but in their head, protective parents, they want what's best, right? But like they knew the salon I was at is probably the most successful I could be if I stayed in this industry, kind of thing. So of course I didn't listen. I put my 2 weeks in, and then I moved back home. Had a dog at the time. Like I was really settled. I was in a relationship, had this dog, and they're like, you are not bringing this dog home. Like, and so like me and my mannequin heads all came back home at 25 years old. And so I remember sitting at the table, and I told him my plan. I was like, I'm gonna booth rent because I need to learn the business side of things, and within 5 years I want to open a salon. And so I had that conversation with them, and then like later that night, and I know they don't like when I tell this part of the story because they have supported their 4 kids like no other, but I'm in my old bedroom, and I hear them in their room, and the walls, I'm like, there's a wall between us, and my dad is Exxon retiree. My mom is a stay-at-home mom with the 4 of us. And so he just, they never see your kids as like this business person, right? And so I hear my dad, and he's like, Bren, she's going to do this, and then I don't know if she'll be able to do this, and I have to go work at a salon. And so like I heard that, and it killed me. And so like I go outside, and I'm just like crying. I'm 24, 25. And of course, when they found out I heard that, they were so, they would never show me that doubt, right? It's just fear of a parent of just like, of a kid starting their own business. And so sure enough, that's kind of how it started. And so I even went to people for booth renting, and people said, no, like, Rach, you can't do this until you have a full clientele. You don't even have a clientele. And it's been, it takes 5 years. And I was just like, take my money and give me a chance. And so this guy, Peter Trosclair in Baton Rouge, he did. And I started booth renting at that point. That was in 2016. So that's where like,
I love that.
Started coming back.
There's one of the other podcasts I really enjoy, the Founders Podcast.
Yeah.
They recently had Todd Graves on for an interview.
Yeah.
Todd doesn't give a lot of interviews, but Todd talks in this podcast about that entrepreneurial spirit, how all you have to hear is somebody say that you can't do something. And not that you want to prove your dad wrong, because he's coming from a place of pure love for you.
100%.
But the true core of an entrepreneur is you hear somebody say you can't do something, it's like, okay, you know what? I'll show you. Let's get after it. That's so cool.
Well, and even with the, I'm jumping forward, but the product line, I was sitting at a table with someone who owns another product line. And so they're like, they're convincing me. They're like, you don't want to get involved with this. This is so much work. Like, are you sure? And then my director of ops, who's been with me for 6 years, she's like, you do realize the more you tell her this, the more she's going to want to do.
Hey, that's it.
Bring it on.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Okay, so let's talk about since opening. So you opened 2 locations. Obstacles that you have had to overcome. Maybe, I mean, how different is it with 2 than 1?
It's different.
I mean, I understand that obviously you have one more salon that you're running, but at the same time, like, what are the obstacles involved?
Well, I think throughout this whole 5 years of growth, it's like trying to keep up with the growth. And you have to be so careful, because when you do grow too fast, there are challenges that come up. And so for us, it's like growing the systems that we started. So, we had to, each year, we've kind of had to shift our systems and our processes. So the 2 locations definitely we had to reset on a lot of our processes, but the biggest challenge, and this is what I don't think people realize how much time you have to pour, is just like making sure and keeping the culture alive and making 2 teams still feel like one, And so we do our best to like try to have quarterly events with everybody. And then we have 12 associates like in training that we kind of put them at both locations so they get to know everyone. Yeah. But I would say that is probably the hardest thing to do, because you want them to still feel like one team. And full transparency, this was our first year. It'll be a year in December. And our first location, there were some comments of like, we feel like Perkins is being favorited and, stuff like that. And it's like, it's a baby. Y'all are smooth sailing over here. We got to nurture this thing to be as good as what, Goodwood, our OG location, has become. And so that, but communication is huge. Like, that is what I feel like is what has been working for us. We have so many touch points with our employees, and just building that trust with them of like, y'all, this is going to be a challenge, but just trust us, like, give it some time. And so...
Had a conversation with a restaurant owner here in town, Gino Marino, who owns Gino's, right, in Baton Rouge. And I asked him flat out, why don't you have another one? And he said, because I can't be at both. Was there some of that? So
I had already removed myself from the salon.
Got it.
So in 2019, I heard on a podcast, every hour you work in your business, you lose an hour to work on your business.
Wow.
So from that point forward, I started, we strategized, like, how does this salon run without me generating any of its revenue? And so in 2022, I was able to step away completely behind the chair. Now, I will say that was another growing pain, because in that next year, I was in an office, mostly working, and these are the years my social media started growing, because I was starting to nurture that and focus on just expanding the brand. And after that first year, we do anonymous surveys at the end of every year from all the employees. And it's interesting, because even though we have monthly touch points with them, at the end of the year, there are still things that are brought up because it's anonymous. And the one thing we did hear the most that year was there was a lack of leadership. And so at that point, I had stepped away and we built a leadership team, but I did not do my job in implementing them as the leaders. So the next year, every quarterly was focused on who our leadership team is, what they're doing, what their responsibilities are, and empowering those people to now be the ones that are leading and putting out, and we really try to, with our employees, try to instill like them solving their problems instead of like feeling like they do have to have someone there that's there to literally put out fires. So I have been blessed that I put myself in that position, and luckily only because of the amazing team we have a couple years back. So I have a travel day, which is actually something that I got from a coach, but like every Thursday I go in and it's just like, hey guys, how's everything going? And it's just to remind them of the vision, the culture, and keep the energy going. So I love it. And that's my favorite day of the week because I get to go in and, just spend time with them.
Yeah, your presence matters in that situation too.
So, all right. So you said 2022 is when you've transitioned out of being chairside, so to speak, and that's also the same time that your social media started to grow.
Yeah.
Is that something you were specifically intentional about? Was there like a whole like plan to do that, or is it something that just more or less developed organically?
It kind of developed organically, but that also was when we started focusing on the vision of launching a product line.
Okay.
And so one of the things that does set us apart in our salon that we love is that we educate and empower our clients to learn how to do their hair, right? And so at the time, I had 2 pages. I had a tips page and I had my personal page. So in one of our EOS meetings, we decided that we wanted to combine them, and I was going to focus my efforts on one. And so I just started launching these more educational videos and then analyze what was doing well, what were these people wanting to see, and then started just creating more and more of those. And then it just like, I had 7,000 in that year. So that's how much it's grown.
Is the education piece, is that something that's very common in your industry, or is that something that was a little bit different in niche?
There definitely are people on Instagram that educate, right? I don't know how popular it is for like tutorials coming from maybe a stylist.
You see, because in some ways you look at that and I think to myself, okay, you're almost like giving business away for free.
Right.
But I think that's the amount of trust that builds in your brand by putting that 100%. Out there is fantastic.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. And you can look at it as like, oh, do I want to, because one of the things I'm working on is a digital product of masterclasses. And it's like, okay, do you want to give away some of the education that is a positive of working at Eggie, because you get to learn these techniques that I've brought into the business, but at the same time, it's like, what's the saying when you share your knowledge? I don't know. It's just always better just to go out there and share. And it's like, in the end, people hopefully will look at us as still like the experts and want to be a part of it for other reasons, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right. Let's transition into something that I mentioned in your bio, the Post Chemo Program. First of all, how did it come about? And then just kind of take us through, like, what does it entail, and then what kind of impact do you feel like it's had?
Okay. So how it started, it's crazy. So I was asked to be in Best Dress. There's an event in Baton Rouge that raises money for the American Cancer Society. It's different now, but I was asked to be in that. And honestly, I had not lost someone from cancer, which is crazy. But so at the time I was like, do I say yes to this? I'm not really sure. And so then the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? It is interesting because our job as hairstylists is to make people feel confident with their hair. But in my years of doing hair, there have been post-chemo or people who are diagnosed, and it's like, if they've asked to shave their head, it's like, now our job is to make them feel beautiful from within, not with what they have on their head. And so I was like, okay, maybe I should do this. And so then I was in the bathtub. This is another time God put it on my heart that I'm shaving my head, okay? I'm like literally fighting with him in my head because I was just starting to build my social media using my hair. And I was like, why am I shaving my head? Like, I need my hair to teach and grow my social media very selfishly. And so I kind of just kept it to myself. And then not too long after, my husband and I, we were on our way home from Superior, and I was like, babe, I cannot get this off of my heart. I was like, but God is telling me for some reason to shave my head at this event. And with no hesitation, he was like, you have to. And I was like, okay. So
wait, you want to try that again, huh? Are you sure?
Are you sure? Do you know what this entails? And so then I didn't tell a soul. Then I got pregnant, and I was like, I am not shaving my head now because I'd be having this baby, and I don't know what my body's gonna do, and I don't have hair. So then in my head, I was like, okay, I'm not doing it. That was whatever. Well, then Mary Bird came knocking at the salon, and there was a doctor, Dr. Varnado, and he had this experience with a patient where she was growing her hair out. And he asked her, he was like, are you so excited to go get your hair done? And at the time, she was like, I don't even know where to go. It was just this conversation where he was like, I never want one of my patients to feel unsure when this is such a happy phase to be going through or whatever. And so he started asking around. He was like, do y'all know salons that would maybe be willing to donate the first post-chemo haircut? And so they approached us. And when they did, that's why I was like, that is why he wants me to shave my head. And so Fast forward, this was all going on through a year. So then fast forward through that year, then the event started creeping up, and come August, still hadn't told a soul. The week of the event, they announced who you're partnered with and the order you're in, right? And that week I was like, okay, if I'm like first or in the middle, I cannot do this because I'm going to disrupt the whole event, right? So I'm just like, so let's just see where I fall. I fall last, and I'm with an oncologist.
Stop it.
And y'all, not one
man.
person on there knew I was doing this. I have the chills right now. And so I was like, everything fell into place. So sure enough, that next week I called my partner and I was like, look, I just want you to know this is what is going to be happening. I said, I don't know what it looks like. I told him I didn't know if I was doing it on stage or before, but I said, I'm being called to do this. And so he did say this. He said, Rach, because we had a sign, and he was like, you have to be very careful with what your sign says, though, because you don't want to it to be offensive. And I was like, you have done social media with this, so I'll put you in charge of it. So anyways, come the event, I shaved my head on stage, and then that is when it just kind of started exploding. I didn't even realize the demand that women needed and the help they need after they grow their hair. And to this day, people are still like, what do you mean you help them grow their hair out? But today, if you decided to grow your hair out, you go.
Not happening. Okay. Yeah, all right.
You would go through. Oh, look, he kind of has a mullet.
He might.
I just got a haircut too.
Yeah.
Cut that. Okay, so if you grow your hair out, the back is gonna grow longer than your top because it's closer to the ground, right? So these women go through these awkward, they're not cute phases. And a lot of their stylists will just say hey, just keep growing it. They don't know how to cut it. So what I do is I create an intentional haircut for every phase that they're going through. Wow. So that when they come in, it's like, okay, you walk out feeling like you asked for it, and not that for 2 years, because it takes a year. Once you shave it, it takes 2 years to get to back to a one length. 2 years.
Such a long time.
So yes, I did, and then that's also worldwide is what also my following, because now there's women worldwide that follow me for the tips and the tricks. So I documented what I went through so that once my hair was long, I could still refer those videos to people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
And so I started the program. So the first year, it just started with us doing the first haircuts with Mary Bird, but then the word started getting out, social media, and then more people started coming. So I think we ended up taking care of, 100 women that year, and then I couldn't have them only come once because I'm like, no, you need more. I need to guide you. Kept going. Yeah. So I just kept doing it and having them come back. And so then I'm only there once a month doing this, and there's so many people in need. So I was like, what if we came up with a program and got businesses involved, especially these cancer programs that could support some of their patients and allow them to get a year of haircut with one of our even other stylists, so that we can help more women. And so that is when Ochsner came on board. So they took on the Eggie Post Chemo Program, where they allocate a certain amount of dollars and they support. So we started with 10. So they support 10 clients right now to where they will get 10, a free year of haircuts at Eggie. And then, so this is our first year partnered with them, which has been incredible having that support, because I just feel like this is just the beginning.
How did that come about, though?
So I created a presentation and I gathered testimonials, because it's very hard to show people the value in this, because people are like, well, it's hair. And I went in there and I just presented to their boards, and with no hesitation, they were like, we want to be a part of this.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so that's been cool.
I want to shift gears here, okay? And we have pillars that we at TLW Coaching, we operate by. And our coaching and our methodology and everything that we do. Honor God above all else. Discipline is diligence. Value people over profit. Lead through service, not self. And build legacy through integrity. And so immediately, there are two of those that stand out to me with regards to you. And I want you to touch on the importance of these when you run your business. The first one, which is obvious, and we were actually talking about it a good bit prior to the podcast, which is your ability to value people over profit. So talk a little bit about that to our viewers, and why your approach is so strong in that regard.
Well, first off, if you run a business, your people are your everything, right? And so our focus is them, and first it's building that relationship with them. And one of our G's, EGGIE, is what builds our culture. And one of our G's is gaining trust and understanding. And it's because I know the importance of them trusting us and as well as like coworkers trusting each other. But for us, valuing the people. What's that book? You don't focus on the golden egg, you focus on the geese.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The goose.
But yeah, the goose. But it's like, yes, those are the people that are running your business, taking care of your clients. So you have to be pouring into them. And I just feel like everything runs smoothly and everyone is in a good place when they are feeling good. So like we have things in place, like I was kind of saying, the quarterlies, like we have events outside of the salon to kind of bring people together. We have one-on-ones every single month with each person to where it's like, okay, an hour of undivided attention of like, how are things going? What can we support you with? And then again, the surveys at the end of the year, people have a lot to say and they have to feel like they work for someone who wants to hear it and can maybe make changes about what they feel, but if they don't, then explain to them. Like transparency is huge with us. And I even, we'll even, at our quarterlies, I'll show them where our profit margin is, because being in a salon with commission base, right? Commission salons have a connotation of just like the salons take X commission, okay? Right. It's just like the service world. But if they truly understood what is on the back end, then it would help them not have that kind of mindset. Right. So to be transparent with them, of even in the finance world, and like, what is our profit margin? We need to keep it at this if y'all want to be sustainable and continue growing and thriving, and if y'all want benefits, and if y'all want us to do these like outside quarterlies. So yes, valuing the people for us is one of the biggest things. And I just took a personality test. It's the Culture Index. And I'm a rainmaker. And what a rainmaker is what the guy told me. It is someone who wants to win, but never over people. So like, yes, I want to get to certain places, but I would never do it in like, if it ruins relationships or, if I were to put someone else down to get to that place. And my director of ops, her and I have been best friends since 15, Mimi Schoenfeld. And her and I feel like have been able to set that tone as leaders, and then it's been able to trickle down to each other. But we also have I love this. It's called a shout out Slack channel. Do y'all use Slack? It's like communication, but we literally have one that's called shout outs. And so all day that goes off with people just shouting each other out. And it just keeps
the culture is awesome with that.
Yeah, it just keeps everyone in good spirits, It's the hardest thing to do, but it's the most important thing to do.
The second one that stands out is discipline, is diligence, at the end of the day. You talked about the journey. You talked about all the things you had to go through. You talked about stepping away out of the salon and into the office ultimately. Talk about how diligently disciplined you have to be in order to get everything that you get accomplished done on a daily basis.
Very. Okay, it's so funny you said that. So, as you grow, and then some of these employees get younger, it's like someone has a cold and they're like calling in sick, right? Yeah. And my first employee, Erin, she's still with us today, and she's like, Rach, I was in the break room the other day, and she was like, I was telling the girls that you literally dropped a knife through your foot cutting pizza the night before, and you're in the hospital that night, and the next day you show up to work, and you're like, and Aaron's like, Rach, you can't be working, and my foot's wrapped. I'm like, I'm fine, we're still going. It's like,
the hands are still working, let's go, baby.
Exactly, I still have all my fingers. It's not stopping. So you do, it's like, there's the drive is there. And that's the thing, is like when I talk about people who maybe want to start a business or get somewhere, it's like if you find your passion, no day feels like work.
Right.
But it's like you wake up, you do it every day, no matter what the obstacles are, you just find a way to power through. And then I just started reading Atomic Habits. I wish I read that 10 years ago.
Book.
Oh, so
James
good.
Clear, let's go. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so good. But things like that, putting things into place, and like time blocking, that's really important, especially when it's like you have all these different things going on. So time blocking your day to where it is as efficient as possible. But does that answer your question?
Well, I do have one more.
Okay.
What kind of knife were you using?
Oh my God, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like a huge chef's knife.
For pizza?
Was the pizza like really old? You like pushed really hard to get through it?
I just couldn't find the pizza thing. This was like 6 years ago. I found the pictures recently, and that's why it came up too, because I was organizing old photos, and I was like, and it's Micah like standing there because I was sending a picture to my family, and then my foot is literally just like,
oh my gosh.
It just flew off and dove right in the middle, right in between my toes.
All right, so speaking of atomic habits, one of the things that we love to do here at TLW is talk to our guests about the specific habits, routines, et cetera, that they have on a daily basis. Would you mind walking us through what a normal day looks like for you?
Yeah. So it actually has shifted recently. So this is my first year in my life where I have felt balanced enough, so I get to pick the kids up from school, which has been amazing.
I don't even know what balance is.
I know, but and I'm really proud of where I am right now. So just let me feel it for a period of time.
Okay.
But wake up really early every day. It's usually around 5. I also have kids that sometimes wake up 4:35, so it's not always by choice. But I wake up. I have like a certain drink that I drink every morning. Youth RX powder has like some NAD, some vitamins in it.
I love this exact same drink.
Yes,
Oh,
every
so
single
good.
every
Yes.
single morning.
Yes.
And then I have my coffee, and then my workouts, like it's not that it's like the same time every day, but I time block out when I'm going to work out. So I do 2 to 3 weight workouts, and then where my cardio is. And then my day to day is different because it's like different tasks every day. But again, it's like I still try to time block and know where I'm going before the day starts. Like, what do I need to get done? The next day is already in my calendar from the night before. You know, just setting your day up the day before, if that makes sense. And then I'm big at so I'm on a Whoop. Do y'all have Whoops?
I don't, but
How do you not have a Whoop?
I have to get one.
Oh my gosh. I'm 2 months in and I'm a slave to it, okay? I'm a slave. But it tells me.
I know what to get for Christmas this year.
It's so good. But it tells you when you need to go to bed. Like I started canceling evening plans now because I'm like, no, I got to be in bed by 8 o'clock. So my nighttime routine is huge for me. I mean, it mostly entails being with the kids, but now I pick the kids up at 2:33, and I had a talk with my team. I'm like, guys, from 3 to 7 is like mom time, and they've been so respectful of that. And then we are usually in bed asleep by 8 o'clock. So
yeah, we can get along with that.
Yeah. I'm an early bird for sure.
Yeah, we're. I think everybody in this room is the same way.
Yeah.
So have tos for you are waking up early, same drink every morning, the specific workouts that you're doing in the morning, and then that family time in the evening. Basically, you're bookending your day, day in, day out. Okay,
Yes.
Love it. I feel like every single person that sits in this chair has the exact same thing, where it's early up, get the things done before the work has to get done, and then taking care of family at the end of the day.
Well, we talk about it, right? So one of the things that we talk about here at TLW is you should be, if planned accordingly, and if you are disciplined enough, you should get more done before noon than most people do in a whole day. Right?
That's my best time. After that, it's like I'm kind of almost,
Right. So let's go to family time. Okay. So you mentioned 3 to 7. A lot of people, the whole concept of work-life balance from a time standpoint doesn't exist, right? Because we are taught that as a child when we go to school. We're going to spend more time away from home than we are at home, right? However, talk about if you were to advise busy professionals in today's world how to create. I know you said you created a time block, but within that block, what goes on? What
with the family?
Yeah, absolutely.
So every day they have something after school. So it's either like an extra curriculum. So I pick them up and we go to our extra curriculums. And then if they're the ones that end at like 4, then after that we go to the park. And then we're home by 5:30. Like that's their bath time, 5:30, and then they take their baths, and then we go in the playroom. We play for 30 minutes, or we're on the couch watching a show, like watching a movie or something, and then we read and do all the things. But my biggest piece of advice is just that the phone is away. Like the phone has to be put away. And I will say this, not that I was like. For me, one of the reasons why I got off social media recently is just because it consumed my mind so much. It was like, what are we posting next? How's the post doing that we did last week? How are all the DMs all the things that go through my head. And then even, I have this pressure of, okay, Rach, people need to see that you're a real person and they need to see your personal life. So, I do share, typically all my day and stuff is on my stories. And so then I found myself filming like the kids, and it's like, instead of just like filming to film, I'm like, okay, when is this going on my story? And and so in church, 2 weeks ago, what made me get off is literally Pastor Mike at that Sunday. It was about being content and just like being content with where God has put you in your life and not always maybe wanting more. And so he said, if there's something you've been called to sacrifice and you can't, then it has control over you. And I had been telling my husband for 2 months, like, babe, I feel like I need to like get off of Instagram. And so when I heard that in church, I was like, it's my Instagram. It has full control over me right now in my mind. And so I just noticed that, like, and even Sundays is always just like, okay, I got to get prepared for all this stuff. So it's like, instead of being present with them in church, and then when we go to Chi-Chi's and we have our whole Sunday routine, all I'm thinking about is like the 2 hours I need at the end of the evening to prepare for the week.
Wow. Yeah.
And I've been able to just like be with them, and it's just like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And just like,
awesome.
and having your team understand, and, you know, because I didn't want to like dip out at 3:00 and then the team be like, where's Rachel? You know, or like even being not available by phone, because I'm not there typically at that time anyways. But just like telling them, and the support I got from them, and they're like, you should be doing that. You should be picking up your kids.
And the reason they're that way is because they see how much you support them. You came back to the fact that you're a rainmaker, and you've done everything to build things around them so that it works for them. So, I mean, it's only fair that it reciprocates. So
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah.
One of our favorite words here at TLW is next. What's next for you?
The product line.
Okay, let's go.
So we have our product line on the horizon. We haven't even launched the name. It does have Eggie in it, but about 2 years ago, it was when I got the ball rolling. So Founder, you said something about Founder.
The podcast.
The podcast, yeah.
FOUDR?
Oh, no,
Or is this something else?
Founders.
Oh, okay. So there's a founder course I took from the guys in Australia, and it's this course on how to create a product and then scale it through and sell it on e-commerce.
Okay.
So I took that about 2 years ago, got the ball rolling, and then the expansion of the salons kind of started happening, and I just kind of like slowed down on it. And so picked it back up again this year, and just had the call with the scientist actually a week ago. But there is something that is going to set this line apart from all the others, and I can't say it because it's like what I'm so excited about. But that is the next thing. So one of the things is my following on Instagram. So 40% is US, 60% is worldwide. And currently we sell the products we have in our salon through Shopify, but we can't ship worldwide. So we're trying to create products that are easily accessible and that we can ship everywhere to the people who are watching our videos, and they're wanting what we're using. So that is going to be probably the next focus for a little while.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So you mentioned on Sundays, you were at one point looking forward to the end of the day for the 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
To get organized for the week, and yeah.
Okay. So I've been looking forward to asking you this question
Since
we started the podcast. Okay. Especially after you got going. And we ask every guest this. But let's go back to 14-year-old Rachel.
All right.
And you're sitting across from that young lady right now. You right now, 14-year-old Rachel. And you can only offer one piece of advice.
Okay.
What is it?
Okay, so if I was looking at my 14-year-old self, I would say to follow the callings and follow your heart, and don't let fear stop you. Because in my journey, there were a lot of doubting. There was a lot of people saying you can't, or what are you doing? Or I had even someone say, good luck with this business model in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yeah.
But I didn't let that stop me. And I would just say that everything's going to work out. And even if you do fail, you learn from it. There has been things that I've made decisions on.
Strong. Yeah.
I've made decisions. Were they the right ones? They were not, but did we learn from them? We did. And you're going to make mistakes, but you're also going to learn and grow from them.
I love that.
Huge. Well, that's where we wrap up. And Rachel, your passion is undeniable. Your energy is magnetic. We believe here at TLW that you have only scratched the surface with what it is that you are going to do. We thank you very, very much for joining us. I know our viewers got a ton out of this, so thank you so much for being on with us.
Thank y'all for having me.
I can't wait to go learn some hairstyle tricks to help this thing out of here.
I need a mail series.
And from Jonathan Pixley with Sean Owens and Jace Augustus, and once again, Miss Rachel Eggie Gibbs, that's us signing off of the TLW Podcast. Go get it.